here's what's been interesting for Sitake. Understanding he's Polynesian, correct?
He's Tongan, yeah.
I don't know if there's a better job if you're actually a person that believes if you're a Mormon. How is there a better job in BYU? The caliber of kid that you get
here
is top shelf. You don't got a lot of headaches at BYU. You're gonna have other places.
Here's the problem. So Braden Fajoko's dad and Kalani, they're all related. They're Tongan. I've known Kalani since I was a little kid. Great friend of mine. Like, been drugged through the mud together, to say the least. He goes to Penn State, regardless if he's fired in 3 or 4 years. Generationally, he's set for life, and and they know it, and he knows it, and he knows that he's at a place where there's probably not much more growth. He can't do much more at BYU, dog. Like, look what he's done there. He single-handedly built this place.
You know what he can do? He can use Penn State to get that payroll.
He can, but I don't believe a church school, Shaun, isn't going to break the bank for $35 million for kids that you don't know if I pay and they go do something that their quarterback did and fuck on somebody in the dorm and I got to lose them. They're not willing to risk their integrity. That's what I was told last night. So if he leaves because he wants to play at the ultimate with the big boys and get in there and play Lane and those guys and possibly, I don't know if he can play it. Even if he gets to the playoffs, Shaun, be honest.
I don't even think, though, that kid is in play at BYU because you got to sign that contract. Ain't a whole lot of kids signing contract to say, I can't have sex or drink alcohol.
I don't believe BYU is going to pay him $10, $12 million a year. I don't, even though he's a flat alum.
It's $8.5 a year at BYU where there's just less stress. Like, you're dealing with an older group.
That's not necessarily true, though. Like, knowing them, the stress isn't necessarily true, though, because I can't get. So let me ask you something. Would you coach a place knowing going in that this is our ceiling and I cannot surpass this ceiling? I can't get Judkins here. I can't get fucking Jackson Dart here.
But the ceiling is we can win the Big 12 every year.
Yeah, but is that what your ceiling is as a professional at the end of the day? I don't want to win a natty.
Absolutely, I want to win a natty, but at the same time.
But he ain't getting it there, though. But he knows it.
The place I'm going to just fired their sitting head coach mid-season after he made the college football playoff semifinals.
But hold on, though. You can't tell him to stay and Lane to leave.
No, I didn't tell Lane to leave. I said that AD was.
But you know what I'm saying? There's no different. Lane, you're in a playoff in the SEC at least, and you're leaving.
I'm just making a point. You're at a place where if you can get your comp, JB, let's say you're Sitake, I'm your OC quarterback coach, and me and you are talking right now, and you like, hey, look, this what's on the table. We can go to Penn State. This is the deal. You making 1.7 right now. I can pay you $3 million there. If we stay, I'm gonna be able to pay you $2.2 million. And I'm going to jump up $3 million per year. I mean, I'm going to be like, well, damn, living in Provo is kind of dope, dog. We ain't really
but listen, if Lane couldn't win at Ole Miss and last.
We can go to Penn State, dog. If we don't beat Ohio State and we don't win a Big Ten the first 2 years, we're going to be on the hot seat.
Yeah, but if Lane's leaving Penn State for the same reason, you can't tell this guy to stay and not want to compete and go move on either, though. That's the thing about it. Like, he's got to have if he wants to really coach at the high level, then you got to go too. And I'm hearing Brian Hartline's going to be the new OC at Oregon. I heard. Here's what I've heard real quick before we got to take a break before Steve Kim jumps in. CAA and Jimmy Sexton, from what I was told in confidence last night, is literally and figuratively trying to singularly fuck Penn State for firing James Franklin, Jimmy's other agent or client. So he is telling every one of his CAA clients, don't even fucking interview. Fuck Penn State. It's a dead
Is he wrong? They fired this guy after being in the college football semifinal.
Well, I'm just saying, from what I've heard, it seems to be working. And CAA has steered clear of Penn State, and it's cost Penn State several candidates because why is Penn State such a stepchild on fucking December 2nd? Why have they yet to hire a guy, but Oregon State has? Fucking, like, what? UCLA's made a decision, apparently. Like, I'm just
maybe this is a reality check for Penn State.
And maybe it is, and maybe, Brian or what's his name that replaced Paterno, Bill O'Brien, and James Franklin have told everyone there's a ceiling here as well. After the Paterno debacle and the shower fucking soap gate, this could be a hard sell too. It could be very hard to get, over the hump there. You can win 11. That's why James Franklin, what he did is so undervalued and appreciated, in my opinion. And what he's going to do at Vodtech is going to surprise a lot of people, I think, in that conference. Here's the other thing, Shaun. To Kalani's point, to some in the chat, he don't know shit about the Northwest or the Northeast. It's an Amish territory. He's Polynesian. Listen, this is an NIL, dog. You got money. You don't need to be geographically associated with a certain group anymore. I can go from James Madison to UCLA now, and UCLA gives him a bag. Guess what? I mean, look at what Indiana did. He brought his whole fucking team to Indiana. It ain't about who you know anymore. And guess what? Polys are the most loyal culture on planet Earth. I took 30 of them to Kansas. They never been to Kansas. Guess what? He'll take them to Pennsylvania. I promise you they'll follow. I've also heard through the grapevine, if Kalani doesn't take the Penn State job, this man is in the mix of that job as well, which would probably deter UCLA from hiring him. I would assume he would take Penn State over UCLA. He's an East Coast guy. So I don't know what's going to happen. He hasn't put a pen to paper yet, but it looks like UCLA has their guy.
Okay, so they're trying to recreate the Google Me magic. I get it. And I don't know how many guys this guy would bring along with him to Westwood the way they did in Bloomington with Signetti. Going back to Sitake, guys, I think in college football, fit, whether it's cultural, political, racial, everything, it's important. JB, you know Kalani Sitake. Do you think he really fits in Happy Valley, putting aside the money, which I know this is about the money. It's always about the money. Do you think he fits better in Happy Valley or Provo?
Well, this guy was a fullback for Sark at BYU under Lavelle Edwards, was roommates with Sark, so he bleeds BYU. And his first hire when he got the job was Ty Depner as his OC. So I get he's full through and through BYU. The problem is, he now understands, though, if Lane Kiffin left because his ceiling was here, I got to leave, too, if I want to aspire to play for a national title. He knows he cannot get, to Shaun King's point, a Judkins or a Drake May or a Bo Nix. He's not going to get those guys at BYU. And then the church school that it is, to Eric Weddle's point last night on the phone, who Kalani coached Eric when he was there at Utah, the church school is not going to fork out $35 million for some unknowns to come there and fuck on something in the dorm and be fired and kicked out of school and lose their integrity. They're not going to pay $30 million for an integrity to be lost. You saw that by kicking out the quarterback that went over to Tulane's and now has got them in a playoff hunt. So, listen, I think Kalani says, hey, if I want to play with the big boys this time, I got to go. And listen, Polly's travel, Steve. There's nothing now with NIL money that won't say Polly's won't travel to Amish land and make a house in 2 days.
Now, I don't know what kind of budget they got, but to me, if Kalani was going to leave, he's a perfect fit for UCLA.
Oh, no doubt. He's from here. I mean, there's no doubt.
That he'd be perfect for there. And I don't know if he could. I don't know what UCLA's budget. I know their facilities are like mid-1980s from what I heard, at least.
They've upgraded.
They've upgraded.
I'm talking
they've
space.
Upgraded a little bit.
Space-wise, they've expanded a little bit, knocked down a parking lot. They've got 100-yard fields now at least.
Yeah, Shaun, they got rid of the shake weights. The Nautilus machines they moved those out a couple of years ago. A couple things here. Talking about the path to the playoffs. I would argue that there's no doubt about it. In the Big 12, Texas Tech has the biggest budget. So they're going to be number one. But I think BYU is still a top 3-4 job in the Big 12. Penn State is probably top 5 in the Big 10, right? But it's a tough league. It's a tougher league. And UCLA is probably about what? Right now, the 15th best job. So when you're talking about path to playoff, BYU may still be an easier one. Now, the problem is, can you get all the way to the top and win the title? I'm not sure about that. But it reminds me, when you talk about fit, It reminds me of the story of Joe Paterno. Joe Paterno was this close to being the coach of the New England, or what they call the Boston Patriots. I think it was New England at the time. And they're going to have a morning press conference to say, okay, this is our new coach. Sue Paterno and Joe, the night before, they're in bed, and Sue Paterno is just very emotional. She says, Joe, what are we doing? He goes, we like it here. They like us. I said, Joe, you are a college coach. Are you sure about this? Joe looked at her and says, no, I am not. He goes, I think you're right. Next morning, he called Mr. Sullivan. He said, Mr. Sullivan, I'd be doing both of us a disservice if I took this job. I'm staying at Happy Valley. And it worked out. Certain guys are meant for certain jobs. Now, when the money is that much, maybe it really doesn't matter anymore. But I will say this. If schools like BYU cannot keep alumnus or alumni like Kalani Sitake, man, there's no hope for anybody else. This thing has just gone full-blown mercenary on every single level.
I think quality of life got to matter. Peace of mind.
Yes.
Like, I'm not leaving BYU to go somewhere where they just fired the guy who was in the semifinals of college football playoff the previous year. I don't care, man, what the money look like. Like, we making enough money to be real comfortable in Provo. Penn State fired James Franklin. They were in the college football semifinal last year. And he didn't make it through the season. Like, maybe Penn State's expectations maybe they're delusional in Happy Valley.
I got to give Franklin credit. He has already upgraded the talent level at Va-Tech. He is recruiting his ass off. He's doing a hell of a job.
I was going to say that. No, nobody can argue James Franklin, one of the top 5 head coaches in football as a recruiter. So it's not like Sitake going to be able to recruit better than Franklin did. I mean, Sitake got some kid wearing mid-40s number playing quarterback. Franklin didn't win at Penn State because he was getting quarterback picks.
Hey, I think there's a forward thinking that's deeper than what we're discussing, though. Like, I've talked to these guys that are very in tune to a lot of people. We had Siski on yesterday, who was in tune with a lot that's going on here. There's a strong sentiment that the NCAA will be breaking part and breaking ways with the power conferences, and they will create a geographical landscape. So the Northeast will have a power region, the South, the Midwest, and the West. So they're going to combine these and get rid of the NCAA, and the NCAA will then become charge of only mid-majors and then maybe the G5 or whatever. So if that's the case, then some people may be thinking to get out now while they can before it's too late. And that may be the case here. That's all I'm saying.
Does that mean we might actually get a revival of what the Pac-10/12 was? Is that what you're telling me?
Probably, yeah. And the problem is, like, let me ask you this, though, both of you. Is this not an upgrade from BYU and the Big 12? Like, you gotta think Big 10 is more attractive as far as.
Well, look, if there's really a Pac-10, which includes UCLA, USC, Washington, Oregon, Stanford, Cal, BYU would fit, BYU and Utah. And speaking of Oregon State, I want to go back to this because we talk about fit, culture, and happiness and money. All of this ties in together, right? JB, what do you think Jonathan Smith is thinking right now? He left his alma mater because he felt like, you know what, I still want to be involved in big-time football. Oregon State does not have a place in this new world, but Michigan State just did not work, but I already walked away with $33 million. Does he walk away with regrets, or is he thinking to himself, $33 million, that was worth being in East Lansing for 2 years?
I think it was worth it because Oregon State and Washington State got left out of all of the movement.
This is the problem. To Shaun's point, if you both are here telling me Kalani just doesn't fit the Northeast, I can say the same about Jonathan Smith when he left California and Oregon State. I said I do not see the Michigan State fit. I do not see the Michigan State fit.
That is our point.
I didn't see that fit at all.
I don't think Michigan State's a good job.
I don't either.
I don't think that's a good job.
It's the Auburn. It's the Auburn of the Big Ten, and I tell you why. And JB and I were talking about this on Saturday, Shaun. Here's the problem with Auburn: they're a bit nutty, but beyond that, their direct in-state rival is the greatest brand of the past 15 years in Alabama, and one of their other main rivals has that black G on their red helmet. So already off the bat, you are walking into a gauntlet.
But I will say this: when I watch Auburn play in 2025, they look like the right coach away from being elite. When I watch Michigan State play, they look like they need an entirely new team.
Yes, no doubt. I do have some insight though from a current staffer who probably won't be retained at UCLA. Skipper will be the new head coach at Cal Slow Poly, and he's taking Neuheisel with him.
Oh,
is that the Bears or is that a different? I'm not as in tune with the California system. Is that Cal?
Cal Poly Slow is San Luis Obispo? Yeah.
Oh, okay.